Hey everybody, it's Emily from ARG Schooling, and I'm going to go ahead and do my September wrap-up, because it's the end of September. When did that happen? It's the end of the month, and I looked over what I read. I didn't read a lot. I didn't have the greatest reading month, but I did okay. I read like 5 books. 5 books isn't bad. I'm just going to get right into it. I finally finished A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. This is my second time through, because I'm rereading the whole series in anticipation of the new book coming out eventually. So I figure if I read really slow and take my time, that by the time I get finished with The Dance of Dragons, then Winds of Winter will be out. Fingers crossed. So anyway, I finally finished. It took me 3 months because I've read this on my Kindle at night, and I don't read for very long at night usually because I'm in bed on my Kindle and I fall asleep pretty quickly most nights, or I just get to where my eyes are too tired to read very, very long, so it took forever. But I was happy to read this slow because this is a book you kind of need to read slow because there's just so much. There's so much happening, there's so much setup, there's so many little things that if you don't pay close attention, you'll miss it. So I thoroughly enjoyed my reread. This is still my favorite book in the series because it's just so action-packed. Like, literally everything happens in this book. It's crazy. I feel like a Game of Thrones sets up the story. A Clash of Kings sets up things into place. Storm of Swords is like the checkmate of the chess game. Everything happens. Everything that was set up in the first 2 books comes to fruition. And then in Feast for Crows and Dance of Dragons, you see all the fallout from this book. So this is kind of like the centerpiece, I feel like. And I love it so much. George R.R. Martin is a genius. Take your time, I understand, but please finish Winds of Winter. I need to know. And of course I gave it 5 stars, because like one of my favorite books. Another book I read this month was Wolf by Ryan Groudon, and I thoroughly loved this book. It ticks off all my boxes. It's kind of fantastical. It's World War II-ish, since it does take place after World War II, but the events of this book are because of World War II. And it's got a main character with my favorite name, Yael. I love that name. Is what I named my daughter, actually. It's her middle name because no one can pronounce it, which is silly. It's only 4 letters. Come on, people. How many ways are there? The premise of Wolf by Wolf is that Germany won the war, basically. Germany and Japan, the 2 Axis powers, won the war, and now all of Europe and Asia and parts of Africa are controlled by Germany and Japan. And so in this world, there's basically hardly any Jewish people left because the final solution happened. There's still camps, but most of the people that would have been in the camps during the actual time period of World War II would be dead by now. They were never freed. So our main character, Yael, was a little girl when she was first brought to the camps, and she was experimented on by one of the doctors. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on that because that's a big plot point in the story, but it's not what you're thinking. It's crazy. And so she has been given this task by the resistance. She escaped the camps, and she's been given this task to win this motorcycle race. Every year they have this big motorcycle race all the way through the territories owned by Germany and Japan to show their power, and the winner gets to meet Hitler, and they have a big banquet, and that person is like a celebrity. So she is tasked to win this race and kill Hitler. The story is amazing. It takes crazy turns that you just don't see coming. I loved this book so much. I loved it. I was so just anxious when the book ended. I needed to know what was going to happen next. I immediately pre-ordered Blood for Blood, which comes out November 1st. I am so psyched to read it. I need to know what happens. So I also, in addition to this, I read on my Kindle Iron to Iron. I think it was what it was called. Iron from Iron, maybe? Yeah, Iron from Iron which is a novella that takes place the year before this book, so you can kind of see what's happening during that race, which was very interesting. I didn't like it quite as much as Wolf by Wolf, just because the things that I loved so much about this, with Yael and the intrigue and all of that, don't happen in that book because, you know, it's the year before. So I definitely love this more. 5 stars. And then this is the reason I hardly read anything else this month, but I finished Americana. Finally. This book took forever. I felt like I was reading it for my entire life. Okay, let me get into this quick. So this is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. This was our book club read for Read Like a Mom. And I was really excited going into it because I've heard nothing but good about this book. It's supposed to be one of those books that just, you know, everybody loves and it's amazing and overhyped, basically. So I was looking forward to it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. There are parts that I really loved. I love reading about other cultures. I'm obsessed with reading books that take place in other countries because I really love learning about what it's like around in other places around the world. So I really loved getting to read about what that is like, living in Nigeria, what that culture's like. I really enjoyed reading about the immigrant experience in America and how, you know, when you come here, how different it is, and adjusting to that. I really enjoyed that. That stuff was great. What I didn't like was the main character, Ifemelu. I still don't know if I'm saying her name right. Ifemelu? I don't know. But I just didn't like her. She was not a nice person. She used people repeatedly. I just didn't like her. And because I didn't like her, I think I kind of missed the whole love story thing with Obinze. That just didn't work for me at all. And I kind of felt like this book needed more of a story. It was really important, and this is a very relevant book to read right now, and I really appreciate the perspective, but I just feel like there wasn't enough story. It felt more like almost like a documentary than a story, if you will, I guess. I don't know. It didn't work for me. I don't know. And again, this isn't really the kind of book I typically read. I mean, I do tend to focus more on historical fiction and fantasy and sci-fi and that sort of thing. But I don't know. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. It was just okay. Read Hannah Homeschooler by Suki Westling with my 7-year-old for school, and we really love this. I have a full review that I will link above, but this is just a story, a sweet little book about a little girl who's homeschooled and what her life is like. And I loved that I was able to find this for my daughter, because so often books about children tend to revolve around school, and if you don't go to school, then it's kind of like reading about stuff that you don't really have any relation to. And so I was really happy to find something that my daughter could relate to, and she really liked it. I really liked it. I highly recommend it. I'll post my review and you can see the full review there. But we gave this 4 stars. Also, I'm like halfway through-ish. I picked up, this is like a secondhand copy I got, but this is the Bachman books by Stephen King. He wrote 4 or 5 novels. I think 5 novels under the pen name Richard Bachman. And I am currently reading, this is a bind up, and I'm currently reading The Long Walk in here. I'm like halfway through The Long Walk. And so far so good. I'm enjoying it. It's very different. I feel like the style is very different from Stephen King's writing, which is really weird. I think this is the first Bachman book I've read, because I went and looked through the book to see if I've read any of the other ones, and I don't think I ever have. So I've read a lot of Stephen King's work, but this is the first foray for me into his Bachman books, and so far I'm enjoying it. It's kind of weird. The basic premise of The Long Walk is that there's this kind of, it's like a contest. It's sort of like I use this a lot. It's like the Hunger Games. It's a dystopian America, but boys are chosen by, I want to say by lottery. They don't really go into it very much so far anyway. I'm still not really understanding why this is happening, but chosen by lottery to go on this long walk. And I think there's 100 boys at the beginning. and they literally have to walk without stopping and without going slowly. They have to stay at a certain speed. I forget what the speed is, like 4 miles an hour or something. But they have to maintain that speed the entire time. And the last boy standing wins, basically. And if you slow down or stop, you get warned. And if you get 3 warnings in a row, you're killed. They call it getting a ticket. But the ticket is, you know, shot in the head, which is crazy. And so I think this book was written in 1979, so it's way before the Hunger Games and any of that stuff. And it's just a weird book, and it's weird. I'm enjoying it. And that is what I read in the month of September. Yeah, so what did you read in September? Did you read anything good? I'd like to hear about it. Please let me know down below in the comments. And thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Happy reading. Bye!